Ever look at a pregnant woman, see her light up a cigarette, and wonder about possible health damage to the fetus? A noteworthy legal case in Tennessee has taken that a step further. With over 900 drug-dependent babies born in that one state in 1 year, lawmakers have decided to take matters into their own hands when a woman does something that obviously affects the health of the unborn. Let's welcome to MidPoint, member of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers and a national legal contributor, criminal defense attorney Janet Johnson joins us. Janet, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Janet, let's first look at this from the lawmaker's standpoint. Is this simply a step where lawmakers are saying we have to do something and this is the last thing that we can do, or the absolute first thing we must do in order to protect the unborn?
You know, I see that their heart's probably in the right place. I don't think they're trying to necessarily criminalize mothers, but, you know, I think that there's so many other ways that they could have addressed this. When a baby tests positive, this was methamphetamine, the case that now is in court. The first mom is being prosecuted. When there is a methamphetamine test that a baby tests positive for, the mom is immediately flagged for services. I mean, I don't think that that's ever been any different in the entire country. But now the mom gets arrested, and the first mother prosecuted just was arrested last week and is facing a first-degree misdemeanor and up to a year in jail because she's an addict, basically.
26-year-old Mallory Loyola, she and her newborn infant both tested positive for meth in Tennessee. The police are calling it, or the authorities, I should say, is calling it assault, and it allows a woman, the new law, to be prosecuted for assault for the illegal use of a narcotic drug while pregnant. Aren't they really hoping that this sends some sort of a message forward then to mothers? But is it really going to be an effective message?
Well, yeah, exactly. You have to think that if a mom had a choice, she wouldn't give birth to a meth-addicted baby. I mean, obviously, if she was given a menu of things, she wouldn't say, I'm going to get high while I'm pregnant. This is an addict. This isn't, I mean, I suspect there might be one mom out of 100 that just doesn't care about the consequences. But most of the time, women who I represented who are addicted to drugs and hurt their children, generally inadvertently, they don't have a choice because of the addiction. And you made a great point in the intro. Is it a slippery slope? Do we start saying if the mom smokes, or if the dad smokes around the mom? I mean, at what point can you stop criminalizing behavior and just sort of hope that people have the common sense to either get the help they need, which this will dissuade them from doing, or that after the baby's born, there's services that are provided?
So, in other words, when you talk about that slippery slope then, does this not, though, open that door? And will there not be other municipalities that will immediately go after this? The American Civil Liberties Union is all over this right now, saying that this has to stop right away. But do you not see a lot of other smaller municipalities and then local, larger ones starting to take this to the next step?
Well, yeah, and if they don't, then I think there's a due process violation. I mean, if, you know, the mom is prosecuted for taking meth while she's pregnant, what if the dad gave her the meth? Is he an accessory to that? I mean, you know, you could keep going and going. And the bottom line is that if a woman is addicted to the extent that she's getting high while she's pregnant, we want her to get help or go to her doctor at a minimum. This might dissuade her from doing that. If she knows that there's a crime, instead of putting her in a system that's going to help her, this actually is a fearful situation that she is now going to avoid the help that she obviously needs. I don't know what's going to happen with this woman, but I would appeal this as unconstitutional, just the law on its face.
It's a fascinating case, and it certainly is one we're going to follow for a long time. Janet, we're all out of time, but please come back again and let's talk a little bit more about this and other cases.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Janet Johnson joining us. We will follow that case. We got a lot of news to follow here today. We'll do that right after we take a break right here on Newsmax for this American Moment.
Exactly 6 years and 6 months after the first shots of the Revolutionary War were fired at Lexington and Concord, General George Washington had spent most of the war evading fixed battles against the superior armed British forces. But Providence intervened. Lieutenant General Lord Cornwallis, commander of British forces in Virginia and second in command of all British forces in the American colonies, had moved into a trap, setting up camp in Yorktown. Located on a peninsula and facing the York River, Cornwallis was easily encircled by Continental Army troops on one side and a powerful French fleet on another. On October 6th, Washington's army, now reinforced with 5,500 French troops, were making preparations for their planned assault on the 9th. At the same time, a French fleet, numbering 28 ships of the line, had prevented any chance of a British escape by water. By mid-month, the British were cut off from their supply lines, denying them much-needed food and ammunition. With his forces suffering heavy casualties from Washington's continual artillery bombardment, and knowing his reinforcements were still weeks away, Lord Cornwallis did the unthinkable. He surrendered his forces to what had been called a band of rabble, effectively ending America's war for independence. The date was the 19th of October, 1781. With the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783, the war officially came to a close, with America's sovereignty secured and its territories bordered by Canada to the north, Florida to the south, and the Mississippi River to the east. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.